Welcome to this edition of Fridays with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Russo, Keysight Channel Field Engineer. And here we are, day 180 something of shelter in place, at least for the New York tri-state area, that is. Let me start off with a couple of questions for you. Why isn't there a Kodak camera in every smartphone? I mean, if you look at it, basically they had digital camera patents before anyone. How about why isn't Sears and Roebuck Amazon? They had mail order products mastered over 100 years ago. How about why aren't the yellow pages a verb like Google? Any product or service you wanted back in the day, you let your fingers do the walking. That's probably a trivia night answer somewhere. In any case, how about BlackBerry versus iPhone? Enough said. How about Blockbuster? They were in business 12 years prior to Netflix. What happened? I would venture to say that for whatever reason, those companies didn't adapt to a changing environment. And that leads us to today's topic, adapting to change. Now, I've been in sales some 30 plus years now, and one thing that's always been constant is change. Whether it's your quota, your compensation, your territory, your product focus, your responsibilities, or even sometimes where you're working from and how you're communicating with your customers. If you don't like change, then sales probably is not the job for you. But if you could accept change and adapt to it, then you might have yourself a successful career ahead of you. Now we come to today and the quandary we find ourselves in. What has really changed for us and our customers? For us in the field, the answer is simple. We don't get to see each other in person. And the value proposition for that would probably take up a whole nother video on relationships, partnering, and expanding and uncovering opportunities. But that's not why we're here today. Basically, what can we do and what are we doing to compensate while we're sequestered in our kitchen, at our kitchen table, at our dining room table, or even our basement office? I can say for myself that my lexicon now includes things like Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, YouTube, Reddit, Slack, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitch. I think it's kind of made me cool in my own house. I told my son to wait and see my Snapchat on TikTok. And he just looked at me and thought for a second and said, "Did your friend Tom from MySpace tell you to say that?" Needless to say, I think a lot of us are taking advantage of tools that we've ignored or underutilized because we're always in front of a customer. I guess you can add this YouTube video as a testament to that. To a certain extent, and to stay cool, I say, move over, Kardashians. There are new influencers in town. With that, let me introduce my guest today. She's an area sales manager for Newark Element 14, one of Keysight's premier distributors with broad market offerings that can be found in a 4,000-page catalog, Denise Files. Denise also today has a couple of her outside account managers that will join her, and she'll be introducing. Those folks will hopefully share some of the best practices that they're using in this environment and hopefully add some insight. Denise?